Good morning, class. Welcome to Physical Education with Mr. Johnson. So what we're going to be learning today, we are going to go over tennis and the basics of tennis because this is going to be the lesson that we will be covering for the next few weeks. In tennis, it's important, obviously, to have a racket. In this case, despite its importance, we don't have a racket, so we are improvising with a spaghetti strainer. But if you look at the item here, kind of looks like a tennis racket. Right here can resemble the handle. Right here can resemble the racket. Now, what spot do you think is best to hit the ball on? Obviously, I'm referring here to the racket. So which part of the racket? I'm going to give this one to you and say it's right in here. You don't want to hit it near the edge of the racket because that will make the ball go somewhere that you're not intending for it to go. So what you want to try to do is hit it in the center of the racket with a strong, firm grip so you have maximum control of where the ball is going when you hit it. Now, in order to hit the ball and understand where it's going, I mentioned a strong wrist. So what we're going to talk about here is just the grip of holding the racket within the game of tennis. Start off by putting your arm out and your hand extended like you're about to give someone a handshake. You will take the handle of the racket or the item that you have and you will place it in the base of your fingertips. So you see how it's right where the palm and the fingers connect. You're going to put that right there, and then you're going to wrap the fingers on top. And one time so you can see, you are going to then fold the thumb over. I was once told that you want to squeeze the racket like you're holding a bird. You don't want the bird to fly away, but you don't want to hurt the bird either. So think about that. Hold the bird. If I say hold the bird, it just means get your grip right. You're either holding it too tight or too loose. That's something for you to kind of discover as you go. If you lose the racket, obviously that's a safety hazard, and that's not what we want to do. So in the beginning, I would say it's better to hold it tighter than it is to hold it looser for safety reasoning, but both of them have their cons. So you're going to focus here. Once you have the grip down, you're going to focus on wrist movement. See how my wrist is turning over? I call that empty the racket. So you will be in an athletic stance, which we'll go over in a minute, but you're going to follow through and start with the tennis racket face open, and then you're going to close it. So dump it. Dump the racket. Right? Clean the racket. Dump the racket. If you hear either of those, this is what I'm talking about. That movement of the wrist right there. That roll. Turn it over on your follow-through. Okay? Now on the backhand, you have to focus on it as well. However, on the backhand, your wrist is just going to go in the separate motion, right? So you'll be coming here, starting with the racket closed, and opening your wrist. So then the racket is opening up, and now the face that was facing up towards the ceiling is now facing the floor. Okay? So we went over the grip, the forehand, and the backhand. Now we're going to get into athletic position. So when you're on the court and you're playing tennis, you always want to be in athletic position. What athletic position looks like is right here. You see how my feet are underneath my knees are underneath my hips, straight lines. That is good. Now the next part that we're going to have to focus on here is you want to stay soft in your hips and you want to give a soft bend in your knees. So you'll go handshake grip, soft knees, right? A little bounce. You see how the student here bounces? We want to get that bounce in the knees. Okay? You can go either direction, left to right. You can go to backhand or to forehand out of this position. Athletic position is the most important and most consistent position within the game of tennis. Okay? So right here, forehand, follow through, empty the racket. Backhand. We're going to step to the side of the ball, meet the ball, close the racket. It's almost like a backhand slap. It's the backhand stroke in tennis. Next, we're just going to go over volleying. So you and your partner are going to take a ball, toss it, try to hit it off the center of the racket, back and forth to each other as many times as possible, just getting a feel of where to hit the ball on the racket as your partner is doing the same. You will react to wherever the ball is hit and return it. The last thing we're going to go over is the overhand serve. So the overhand serve, I'm going to kneel down so you guys can see it a little easier. But right here, you're going to toss up a ball, and you are going to go just like the forehand, except now you're going to take your arm and lift it up above your head and strike it. So from the side here, you can see how I'm creating a straight line. If you go like this, it's kind of like a ballerina. Okay, you're going to set it up, come down on the ball, and follow through. Now when you stand up, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Soften the knees, toss the ball up, overhand strike.